Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sheer Strikes podcast. My name is Eric Sheer, and wow, um, wow, that's all I really have to say. The Tampa Bay Lightning are defeated by the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Monday night, May 2nd, by a final score of 5-0. I'm just gonna let that one sink in for everybody. Let me just point this out. The two-time Stanley Cup champion, the two-time back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning were defeated by the 18-year drought first round exit Toronto Maple Leafs 5-0. Pathetic. That was literally the worst game I've ever seen. That was almost like 2015 Stanley Cup playoff round against the Rangers bad. Like, that was horrid. That was horrible. We couldn't get anything going. First period was hideous. I mean, we only had shots on goal for the first period were 5-8 in favor of the Maple Leafs, like pretty much everything else on the scoreboard. And so I'll run down my thoughts through the whole game, right? So first period, 2:13 into the period, TJ Brody gets a hook for the Maple Leafs, and I was like, oh, great, wonderful. We're gonna get a wonderful our big guys are going to get going, and it should lead to something good, right? Didn't. The Maple Leafs had more shots on the power play or on their penalty kill than we had for our power play. Then 6:59 into the first period, Kyle Clifford boards Ross Colton, and I'm telling you, when I say that was a absolutely vicious hit, that was disgusting. Colton wasn't even near the puck. Clifford went straight for his numbers. There was a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. So the Maple Leafs were pretty much at 11 forwards the entire game, aside from about 7 minutes of the first period. And so I was like, oh, okay, good. Another chance at the power play to get the big guys rolling, get the energy flowing, get the nerves out. No, we didn't. And so at 11:59, Nikita Kucherov takes a penalty for cross-checking. Pure frustration out of Kuch. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can tell his emotions immediately once he starts to feel something. And great player, but he's got to stop. He's got to stop that. 16:03 in the first period. Mikhail Sergachev gets a holding call against William Nylander. And another that call, I'm okay with the penalty because it was needed. Nylander was pretty much on a breakaway, and if I thought the play was all right, especially in the playoffs. Cooper touched on that after the game, that usually in the playoffs you don't call as much, but if you're gonna call stuff, call it evenly, and it was. But let him play. I mean, especially when you have a team like both of them. I mean, obviously, yes, Monday night's game wasn't a good example of it, but you have two power plays that are unbelievable. Don't let the playoffs be all special teams. That's awful. That's boring hockey to watch. Nobody wants to see that. So I didn't like it. But Jake Muzzin scores the first goal, actually, of the Stanley Cup playoffs in general. Wrist shot from the point, Vazzy couldn't see. Is what it is. So we're down 1-0 after the first period, and I was like, wow, that was a really bad period, and we're only down 1-0. I'm like, we'll get them in the second. Like I say, we're second period team, so I'm like, it's not a big deal, right? Second period comes around, and oh my god, Ilya Mikheyev trips Eric Chernak 3:20 into the period. Mikhail Sergachev gets a cross check at 5:11. Jan Ruda gets a cross check at 6:07. Ilya Mikheyev gets a hold at 16, 10:46, Ilya Labushkin gets an interference, and 19:33, both Pierre Engvall and Brandon Hagel both get a roughing call. So those are all the penalties in the second period, just the second period alone. Okay. On a 5-on-3, when Sergachev and Aruda, who both kill penalties, are in the box, Austin Matthews gets his first goal of the playoffs on the power play. It's a great shot. I mean, he's their guy, and he's the NHL leader in goals this season. I think very well could catch Ovechkin if Ovechkin breaks Gretzky's record. If Matthews keeps that up, that's unbelievable. So then on one of our power plays, David Kampf scores shorthanded. That should never happen especially in the playoffs. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. Just in power play sense, especially. That was one of, if not the worst games, power play, at least of the season. Definitely of the season, sorry, but probably for years. It was pathetic. And then Mitch Marner scores at 16:39 of the second period. That's his first playoff goal in 18 playoff games. Or he broke his drought. Annoying. I hate the Maple Leafs. I can't stand them. Oh my God. And then third period is when stuff started to get a little bit feisty. Corey Perry roughing. All of these penalties happened at 10:09 of the third period. All right. All of them. Corey Perry roughing. Served by Ross Colton. Ilya Labushkin roughing. Morgan Riley fighting. Morgan Riley misconduct. Ilya Labushkin misconduct. Corey Perry unsportsmanlike conduct. Corey Perry misconduct. Jan Ruda fighting. Pat Maroon misconduct. Corey Perry roughing. Served by Ross Colton. Wayne Simmons misconduct. Jan Ruda misconduct. So we had 3 guys kicked out of the game. They had, how many was that? 1, 2, 3. 3 guys. 3 guys booted out of the playoffs. Terrible. Well, they had 4 technically with Clifford, and we still couldn't do anything. Oh, it's so frustrating. And to make matters even worse, they dumped the puck in. Vazzy couldn't play it, and Austin Matthews scores the second of the game. He had one last year in 7 games against the Canadiens. 1. I was talking with somebody, and this is that was the last thing that we needed to do was give their big guys confidence, especially a guy like Marner who doesn't perform in the playoffs along with Matthews, obviously from last year. And we did. We gave all of them all the confidence in the world. And granted, do we need it? No, because we're the back-to-back champions. But it's so frustrating to watch. But with that being said, that's only 1 game, so we're down 1-0. Not a big deal. Just for example, last year in the semifinals, we lost game 1 to the Islanders. In game 1 of the Stanley Cup finals in 2020, we lost to Dallas, came back to win both of those series, 1 in 6 games, 1 in 7. And I knew this was going to be a long physical series. So not too concerned about that, but especially with this stat, the Tampa Bay Lightning's, this is from Michael Wax on Twitter. Tampa Bay Lightning's, after a loss in 2020 and 2021 postseason, their record is 14-0 with a 3.36 goals for per game and a 1.36 goals against per game. Okay. Andrei Vasilevsky, after a loss in both the 2020 and 2021 postseasons, record is 14-0 with a .951 save percentage and a 1.2 goals against average. That's incredible. That's just, it's obviously a tough loss, but like once you see that stat is definitely promising. But we do need to figure it out. We need to figure it out immediately because Steven Stamkos said that This was in his post-game interviews, and don't quote me on this. I don't know if word for word what he was saying, but it was, you try to go out of a series, or if you start on the road, you want to end up at home with at least a split on the road. So we lost game 1, we need game 2. Don't need it, but to win 4 out of 6 is going to be a hard task against a team like Toronto with offense like that. It's explosive offense, and it is horrible to sit through if you're on the other end of it, because it's not fun. It's just not fun at all to have to watch them as they just stomp all over you. It's torture. Oh my God, we can't do that again. But game 2 tonight, Wednesday, May 4th, 7:30 again in Toronto. Something needs to be figured out now. I think that Cal Foote was our best defenseman. Honestly, probably our best player Monday night, and that's kind of sad. I mean, good for Foote, but like, that's his first playoff game ever in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he was our best player. We sat Bogosian. I like that move. Clearly, I mean, Foote was our best guy. So needed, very needed. I wouldn't be surprised if Bogosian's in maybe tonight instead of like a guy like Ruda, but yeah, you never know. You never know what Cooper's thinking, but I want to just reiterate the fact of the Sheer Strikes merch that I have available online for sale. These are just a couple of the items, but if you click on, or if you screenshot the video right now, I'll leave it up here for a little bit. And if you screenshot the flyer that I have up right now, or if you go to my Instagram, you should be able to see it. A link. My Instagram is Sheer Strikes. And so if you stop here, screenshot, if you scan the top QR code, that takes you to the merch website where there's just the options on here. There's a lot more other things. There's stickers, there's blanket, tapestry, you name it. It's probably up there. And then obviously if you enjoy what you're listening to and you'd like to share it to all your friends and family, please do. I'm trying to build a brand, as well as I'm a college student trying to pursue broadcasting as a career. So if you would be so kind as to share the word with everybody, I'd like to get my name out there, and it would mean a lot if you could not only listen to the podcast, but maybe rep some of the merch. I'd really appreciate it. With that being said, I do have some pretty big news coming up. I'm not going to share anything yet because I don't know quite the details, but it's pretty big, and it's very meaningful to me as a person. And if you're local to upstate New York, it is extremely relevant to you. And if you're not living in upstate New York, you still can support this thing that I have planned. And I'll release more details on that at some point soon-ish. I'm not going to say quite when because I'm not sure. But with that being said, they need to figure it out immediately. And if they don't, it's going to be a very quick series and a very long summer for us Lightning fans, as well as the Tampa Bay Lightning players, staff, management, top down. Going to be a very long summer. Nobody wants that, and I really don't want to be the team that allows Toronto to win a playoff series for the first time in 18 seasons. So with that being said, let's get a win tonight, and let's go Bolts.